Right, hello and good morning from Dr. Dermot Hudson, Chairman of Juche Study Group of England, Official Delegate Korean Friendship Association for the UK, and Chairman of KFA UK, and President of the Association for the Study of Songun Politics. Yeah, I'm here again, and I'm restarting my series of regular videos. I haven't made any for a couple of weeks because I was actually away from the country, actually in the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, the land of Juche itself, where we had a fantastic trip. So here I am resuming the videos. And in this one, I'm just going to say a few words about our amazing trip to the DPRK. It was basically a joint delegation of the Juche Study Group of England and Juche Study Group Scotland, which was formed back in June this year, and of course UK KFA and the Songun Politics Study Association. So three of us went travelling through Beijing and on to Pyongyang. We arrived in Pyongyang on the 7th of October and stayed there till the 15th of October. We stayed in the excellent Pyongyang Kyoto Hotel, which I think is one of the best hotels in the DPRK, in fact, in the world, I would say. And we visited quite a lot of places in Pyongyang itself. We visited the Juche Tower, the Fatherland Liberation War Museum, or I should say Victorious Fatherland Liberation War Museum, Pyongyang Teachers Training College, the U1 Footwear Factory, Kim Jong-suk Textile Mill, Korean Stamp Exhibition, Pyongyang Metro, and Mangyeongdae, the birthplace of the great leader, President Kim Il-sung. And that's just to name a few places that we went to. We also travelled outside of Pyongyang, went up to the International Friendship Exhibition in Mount Moyhang, very beautiful place and also very interesting place where you can learn a lot about the external relations of the DPRK and indeed the history of the international communist movement and the socialist countries, because displayed in that exhibition are, I believe, over 36,000 gifts that were presented to the great leader, President Kim Il-sung, and to eternal chairman Kim Jong-il, and also more recently, respected Marshal Kim Jong-un. And you will see gifts from great figures such as Stalin, Mao Zedong, Zhou Enlai, Fidel Castro, Enver Hoxha, Tito, many others. It's an amazing place. And we also saw the Buddhist temples there. And of course, one myth about the DPRK is that religion is suppressed, but we could see this was a load of rubbish because, the DPRK government had put a lot of effort into restoring these Buddhist temples, which were destroyed by the US bombing. And talking of the US, we actually went down to Pamand John. That's the place where the US knelt down in July 1953 and signed the Korean Armistice Agreement. And the US General Mark Clark confessed that it was a defeat for the US, or as he called it, an armistice without a victory. And of course, Pamand John is the place where Korea, which is symbolic of Korea's division, and visiting there, 2 years after August 2017, I couldn't actually see much relaxation in the tension at all. despite 3 inter-Korean summits being held and 2 DPRK US summits being held. Let's say Pamand John is very much symbolic of Korea's division, which was caused by the US imperialists and other outside forces. And afterwards, we looked around the site of the oldest university in the world at Kaesong. Kaesong, an amazing place. It's got 10 universities, even though it's not a massive city. It's not as big as London. And afterwards, we went to the Pakyong Falls, which was my first ever visit there. Really beautiful, scenic spot in the DPRK. Absolutely incredible, stunning beauty, and some interesting stories a bit behind the Pakyong Falls as well that a local guide was telling us. Anyway, so what was the situation like in the DPRK? Well, couldn't see any shortages in the shops. Prices in the hotel shop and elsewhere seem pretty much the same as when I visited the DPRK in April this year, and in fact, pretty much the same as in September 2018 when our delegation visited the country for the 70th anniversary of the DPRK. In fact, a lot of the prices, I think, aren't really very much changed even since 2008. And certainly the price of a Pyongyang metro ticket is frozen at 5 won, the equivalent of about 2 or 3 pence in English money. And that is the same as in September 2012. I've checked my notes. In fact, I think it goes back much, much further than that. Anyway, during our trip, we had very good discussions with the Korean Association of Social Scientists. I met my old friend, Professor Kim Chang-kwon, and we had a series of in-depth lectures which were very useful. Our comrades in the Korean Association of Social Scientists, they refuted the idea that DPRK has lots of private markets and it's restoring capitalism, this kind of rubbish that is spread by CIA psychops organs like NK News and sort of idiots like Andrei Lankov. This is not true. And in fact, Professor Kim Jang-gon, when I told him about the rumour that McDonald's were going to open in Pyongyang, he laughed at it and he said, "Well, this is just a rumour." And we also met our fraternal organisation, the Pyongyang mission of the Anti-Imperialist National Democratic Front of South Korea. Now, I'm probably going to make another video introducing the ANDF, to people, because this probably is not very well known outside Korea. This was formed as the Revolutionary Party for Reunification in 1969, became the National Democratic Front of South Korea in 1985, and in 2005 became the Anti-Imperialist National Democratic Front of South Korea. This fights for the independence of South Korea, for US troops to get out of South Korea, and for reunification with the DPRK to take place. And, it's basically the vanguard party of the South Korean Revolution. And we also met with comrades from the Korean Publications Exchange Association. We've got many new books from the DPRK, which will be made available at our meetings, which we'd like to share with people. We also plan to hold more cultural events. We want to do another cultural event exhibiting some revolutionary posters, but also some art from the DPRK and other things, and we'd like to try and hold these in regional centres in the UK. And lastly, we also met the Korean Committee for Cultural Relations with Foreign Countries and discussed some great ideas for cooperation with them. Both the Korean Association of Social Scientists and the Korean Committee for Cultural Relations with Foreign Countries welcome delegations and visitors to the DPRK. We'd like to get up delegations for 2020 and 2022. So if you're interested in coming on a delegation, please get in contact with us. Ideally, come to our events and meetings. Anyway, I will be giving a full report back, and the other delegates as well will also speak about their experiences in the DPRK at our meeting on the 2nd of November in central London. See our Facebook page for details. And I've also written a report on my visit, which is on the Anglo People's Korea blogspot. So please read that. Anyway, thank you for listening. Please subscribe to our channel and come to our events. Thank you. Goodbye.